Welcome to the What the F segment of the Who Are You Now podcast. This is where we get real about midlife, change, and everything in between. I'm Chrissie Morgan, and I'm joined by my co-host, Marva Silva.
Hi.
We've come from different backgrounds, we've traveled different paths, but we're both navigating the same thing: how to thrive in midlife. So each episode, we will dive into the big transformations that come along with this stage: relationships, career, health, and more. We'll share our own stories, have conversations, answer your questions, and maybe even have a few laughs along the way.
A lot of laughs.
We're funny. So grab a cup of coffee or maybe even a glass of wine, and let's get into it. Hi, Marv.
Hi, friend.
I'm a little nervous.
I know, me too.
I'm like hot now.
You're having a hot flash.
I know. So let's just use that as our topic.
Okay.
Like, I think everybody that's within our age group, midlife, is going through some sort of change.
Yeah.
Menopause, perimenopause. I never got hot flashes though. I'm just really hot right now.
Okay. So trust me, this is not a hot flash because I know what a hot flash is, and it's messy and it's wet and it's not cute, and you're just a little nervous right now. So it's okay.
I think so too. I think so too.
Yeah.
But so what is a hot flash?
So I'll tell you a little story. So before I went into menopause, I thought I was having hot flashes. I was a little overheated, and I would think, I think I'm having hot flashes. And I asked one of my older lady friends who has been huge in navigating me through this. I said, I think I'm having hot flashes. And she said, oh no, honey, when you're having one, you'll know, you'll be sure. And I thought, okay. So I'm not joking, a week after I turned 49, I had a hot flash, and I was sure that it was a hot flash. I mean, I was like soaking wet, sweating off my makeup, embarrassing in public, at dinners, at concerts. I'd leave, come back with my hair up, all wet, and my makeup would be gone. And I just thought, this is miserable. I'm not cute without makeup and wet hair.
Well, I mean, are any of us anymore?
Yeah.
Really? I mean, we're natural, but we're not.
So it was pretty bad. And it lasted for about 6 months, and it stopped. And I thought, that was it? I can do that. 6 months? That's okay. Well, no. About 6 months later, it came back with a vengeance.
A worse?
It was horrible.
Oh my gosh.
It came back with a vengeance. And on top of all the sweating, and then I started having anxiety, and I was really bitchy and moody. My poor husband, God bless him.
That's the other thing. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think the guys around us understand. They just think we turn into little monsters.
Well, thankfully my husband understood, because he said to me at one point, you're like borderline abusive. And I thought, me? I'm like the nicest person on the planet. Right? I'm not abusive. And then I yelled and screamed at him after he said that to me. And I thought, oh my God, I am abusive. I am acting this way. But yeah, it was about a year of trying to self-manage. And I realized at the end of that year, I wasn't self-managing well, and I needed help.
So is that when you sought help for hormones?
Hormone replacement. Yes.
What year was that?
That was 2020. That was right smack in the middle of COVID.
Oh, so you referred me in there pretty soon after, because I was looking back at my notes, and I sought out the hormone replacement in 2021. Okay. That's pretty miserable too.
Yeah. I think I was like a year and a half ahead of you.
Yeah.
Because you would ask me, I think I'm having this, and I would tell you, no, you're not. No, trust me, you'll know.
Yeah. I wanted to run away.
Yeah. So that's when we found Dr. A, which
and he's going to come on the show and do a 3-part series.
Everybody's going to love him. He's amazing.
We'll do one on regular blood panels of like what to look for from general health. And then we're going to do a separate segment for women's hormones, and then a third segment for men's hormones. Oops. Because I think we can help our husbands out too, ladies. They go through stuff too.
They do.
It's just not as apparent, or they won't help themselves.
Yeah.
So we got to give them a little nudge sometimes.
Big nudge.
My big thing with menopause was I was gaining weight. So I think the kids messed me up. I was pregnant for too long, and since then I never got my body back. But I had a business. I had 2 locations.
You never got your body back?
Not after the kids. Now.
Okay.
Now I did, but that was after Dr. A and this. Now I feel great. But I was like, don't know if you remember, I was like 25 pounds heavier, maybe 26 pounds.
I do remember. Yes.
And of course you wear it well, but I was just getting thick.
You wore it well.
And I was exhausted.
Yeah.
And running. And I kind of just thought that was life.
Yeah.
So, you know, the sleep, I wasn't sleeping. I don't think anybody does.
Yeah.
Chronically exhausted.
Yeah.
Couldn't lose the weight. I mean, does it sound familiar? This is the story I hear over and over.
Yeah.
And I thought I just couldn't get myself together.
Yeah.
You know, I was kind of feeling like I was on a verge of like a nervous breakdown a little bit on the inside. But on the outside, I was keeping it all. No, you got to do this. And the kids are in travel sports and high school and where are they going to college? And
yeah, we have to handle everything. We have to pretend we're in control. We can't fall apart. And you do feel like you're falling apart.
Ugh.
You feel really lost and you don't recognize yourself, and it's scary and it's depressing. And, you know, and I think the weight thing for me was the last thing to come into play.
Was it?
Oh yeah. And me and weight. You know me and my weight.
I know.
You know, if I gain 3 pounds, you know, I'm in a panic and I'm exercising and I'm dieting. So I think I put on about 14 pounds, which was a lot for me.
Right.
And I wasn't seeing Dr. Alavisos in person because of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So we were just having phone conversations. So I was just doing the hormone replacement. And when I finally met him in 2021, remember you said you should go in and meet him because you met him.
Yeah.
You know,
I
right
like
away.
the in-person. I'm an in-person kind of girl.
Yeah. And he said, how are you doing? How are you feeling? And I said, I feel pretty good as far as the hormones are going. You know, I started to feel like myself again. The anxiety was kind of like at bay. I wasn't being so bitchy. Thank God. Yeah. And I said, the only issue I have now is the weight. And that's when he said, well, let's fix that. And I thought, you can fix that too?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So he gave me something for my appetite and I took it off in a few months. And yeah, I've just been maintaining.
And you've been able to maintain.
I've been able to maintain. And I mean, it's not as easy when we were even in our 40s.
No, you just stop eating for a week and like everything goes back. And that doesn't happen anymore.
Yes. Or I'll have less alcohol.
Did you find that during menopause you had different cravings? Like, did you crave different things?
I think I'm craving more sugar now. And I don't have a sweet tooth. So I've noticed that I do crave sweets later in the evening, which is, I'm sure, working against me because, you know, again, I just kind of tell myself, okay, no more sweets and exercise a little harder this week. But yeah, the weight for me was the last thing. And that's when I was like, oh no, I need help. There's just no way that I can stay at this weight, you know. And as women, you still want to feel attractive to your husband and just feel good about yourself. And weight is a big part of it. If it's an issue for you, it's a big part of it.
Of course.
And it's always been an issue for me. I pride myself on staying healthy and fit. And it was really a challenge these last 6 years now. Yeah. It was really a challenge. But I feel like I'm kind of leveling out now. I'm okay.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
I'm feeling better and I'm okay. Yeah.
Mine was just a whirlwind of everything because I was so exhausted.
Yeah.
That was a big thing, and not being able to sleep. So do the progesterone. That was key.
Yeah. I love that.
I would say the biggest things for me was the progesterone because I fall asleep and I stay asleep.
Yeah.
Most of the time, unless my mind's going like with this podcast. So it's not been great for the last couple of weeks, but it'll level out again. And you know what? It wasn't even a prescription. It was taking magnesium citrate.
I got to do that. You've told me about that. I have to try that.
I don't remember. I think it was another patient that told me about it because this might be too much information for you guys, but I was never an everyday pooper. All growing up, I just didn't poop every day.
Guilty.
Right? And so, but like, you know, you just go, okay. But, and when you're fit and you're a little thinner, you don't really feel it. But then when you're not as fit or you're holding on to more weight.
Yeah. That's all you feel.
Oh my God. It was just like dense.
Yes.
And so I probably took a little too much because she was like, oh, I take like 1,500 milligrams a night. Well, that tipped the other way a little too much. And so I did a little bit of research, and a normal decent supplement for women, it's like 324 milligrams. So I take 500 milligrams every night.
Okay.
It also has an anti-anxiety aspect to it. So it kind of calms the nervous system down right before bed.
That's great.
And I think that process of calming while you're sleeping helps your body be ready to sort of evacuate
in the morning
after you kind of get going.
Okay. I'm going to try that. I keep saying,
dude,
I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it.
As long as I'm not up and running late out the door where I've scared my nervous system.
Yeah.
I get up, I let the dogs out. I sit outside for 10 minutes to get my sunlight or my circadian rhythms and my brain open. And then I poop like in 20 minutes. And then I feel like I can start my day. So I would rather get up earlier, even if I'm not quite ready, and have that in the morning than sleep that last 30 minutes or whatever. And then just my body doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
you know?
Well, I've always had that issue. That's been my issue since I started having kids in my 20s. And yeah, it has not gotten better with menopause. So, and I keep saying, I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it. Yeah, I'm going to try it.
That's made a huge difference for me. And of course, yes, I'm on armored thyroid. I'm on progesterone.
Me too.
I would say about 6 or 8 months ago, I finally broke down and went on estradiol. And I was kind of resisting it because there's some previous studies way back when that came out and said that estrogen was bad for women and it increases the risk of breast cancer.
Yeah.
So do you remember that? Everybody stopped everything. They stopped all their hormones. They stopped drinking soy. They stopped. And the study's kind of been debunked. So,
and aren't hormones different nowadays? Aren't they bioidentical?
Some of them, you can get them bioidentical where they smash them up and they give them to you. Armored thyroid's different than synthetic thyroid. And so you'd have to do your own research because I'm not a doctor. I just figured out what was best for me. So some of my friends are going to their doctors and they're like, they'll only give me 100 milligrams of progesterone. And I'm like, dude, I'm on 400. Dr. A says that's the max.
Yeah.
But there's no in benefit of not going up to the max if you're having a hard time sleeping.
Right.
So if you're really having a hard time, ladies, push for it.
Yeah.
Or find a doctor that'll actually listen to you.
Is it 400? Are we on 400?
We're on 400.
We're on
the
the
capsules
same.
are like 200 milligrams.
200. Okay,
right?
so we are on 400. Okay, yeah, that is the max.
So I went up from 2 to 4 pretty quickly because it wasn't doing the job.
So did I. Within a week.
Oh,
within a week.
Mine might have been like, you have to go. He checks your blood every 4 months.
Okay.
And then now it's been 3 years. So now I'm at like every 6 months I go in.
Yes.
But the blood panel was huge.
Yeah.
And so just everything with menopause, I think that as you get older, my cholesterol started rising. And it's always been a little high ever since I started getting my blood drawn, which probably was with the kids. But every time I'd go into the OB, and this was probably my mid 40s to when I finally saw Dr. Alavisos, I was like, something's wrong. My body is not right.
Yeah.
And they would just look at my blood work and they'd say, well, your cholesterol's a little high and you could lose a little bit of weight, but your thyroid's in range. And I was like, I'm gaining weight for no reason.
Yeah.
I'm almost starving myself now and it doesn't matter. I still gain.
And it's interesting though, because I didn't realize that once you start hormone replacement, that it changes. I thought you start it and it stays the same, but it does not. That's why he wants to see you every 4 months for at least the first year or two.
Sure.
And that surprised me because for about a year, let's say 2 years, I was pretty stable. So we went to every 6 months. And I want to say right before I came in to see him, I was starting to have hot flashes again. Not as bad.
Really?
Not as bad. They were the ones that you're like, is this a hot flash? I wasn't sure. Yeah. And I thought, okay, well, I don't know. I guess maybe it's summer. You know, I was just kind of making excuses in my own head about it. I was putting on weight again and the anxiety was starting to creep back in. And so when I finally saw him and he saw my blood work, he said, you're like, what's going on with you? And I said, well, what do you mean? And he said, your blood work is terrible, not terrible, but he said, you know, based on what I'm looking at, he goes, are you having hot flashes? Are you tired? Are you gaining weight? And I was like, yes, yes, yes. And he said, why didn't you call me? And I said, I don't know. I didn't know it changes. Yeah. You know, I'm new at this. I'm new at menopause. And so he said, you know, he's so great. He said, you know, my fault. We're going back to every 4 months because you shouldn't have to feel this way. Like you come to see me so that you feel good, not okay.
Right.
And I was not feeling good. And yeah, so he switched everything up and it took, I want to say like 2 to 3 months. And we kind of played with the estradiol and he put me on cream because he doubled it and it's safer. It's safer if you do cream versus a pill.
The patch?
Yeah.
Or what about the patch?
I tried the patch, remember?
Oh, yeah.
I was sweating it off when I worked out. I know. I was finding it like in my workout clothes or I would sweat
in
it
bed,
off.
like,
yeah, or in the shower. And I called him and I said, this doesn't work for my lifestyle. It's coming off when I sweat. So he said, okay. So he did the cream. So I'm on the cream. And that was kind of hit and miss too. I tried the cream at, I think it was 2%. Is it 2.0?
No, or I'm on the patch.
Okay. So I'll get back to you with that. But I did the cream and my breast got massive. I looked like
Like you need that.
like I was going to be breastfeeding. Yeah. And
Hello.
they hurt. I couldn't fit into my blouses. And I thought, this is ridiculous. I'm in my 50s.
Ruben might have liked that.
Yeah, I'm sure he did. Yeah. I asked him, don't I look bigger? He was, you look fine to me.
Of course.
But I was really uncomfortable. I could tell that they looked really big. So I called him and he said, well, that's good news because that means the cream is working, but it's too much. And he said, go down to half. I said, I already did. And he said, okay. Then that kind of wasn't helping me at all.
Right.
Then I started to feel not great again. So long story short, we figured it out. And now I'm on the proper dosage for me.
Right.
And I've been feeling pretty good now. I want to say it's been over a year now. And I feel pretty good with
stable,
the
right?
dosage. Yeah, I feel stable. Yeah, I feel pretty stable.
Yeah, my numbers were all over the place because my thyroid. Okay, here's the thing. So when I was going to the OB and when they kept saying range, I'm like, what are they talking about? So I found out the range is 2.2 to 4. And when I went in to see Dr. A, who, by the way, he's more of a vitality doctor. He's a doctor of osteopathic medicine, family practice, but he went into more vitality. So that's where his premise is you should feel good. We should still feel good as we age. There's no reason that we have to accept the decline when it can be not easily remedied, but like you can have some help. It's okay.
Right.
It's okay to ask for help. That's part of this whole segment too, right?
Yeah, and most doctors don't think that this is a treatable condition. They just tell you, yeah, you're in menopause, like deal with it. But he has such a different look on it. And I mean, when you meet him, you'll know he's fantastic. Yeah.
And so with the patch for me, I had to find just the right spot to put it, like where the band of my underwear goes or something. Otherwise it would rub off.
Yeah.
After a while, but they seem okay as long as I remember to replace it. And that was the last part of it that I went on. I was really resistant, but I started doing some research, and estradiol in particular, not necessarily estrogen, but that's what you're on as well.
Yeah.
It's really kind of needed for bone density. So the big thing with us is losing bone density and muscle and the osteopenia. I think what it was my 85-year-old mom was over saying how she had to get back to Arizona because she had to go in for her osteopenia shot. And I was like,
a shot?
Yeah. I mean, God. I don't know how long they do, but she's 85. But then I was like,
so we have some time.
Yeah.
we have some time before we're there.
But I was like, I need to get that checked out because I've always had really dense bone density and good muscle mass.
Yeah.
I think it's a little genetic and it's a little bit of my sports history.
I was going to say that you're very active and I know that helps.
Because all I do now is I walk.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even do really squats anymore. My knees just get all jacked up. So I'm a walker. I'm a dog walker. Probably walk 45 minutes to an hour and a half a day. And that seems to really help.
Yeah. I like to work out. I still do elliptical 30, 40 minutes, 3-4 times a week. I'm doing very light weights, bands.
Yeah.
I used to be a gym person and then COVID happened and I just got out of the habit.
Yeah. But now you can do everything at home.
Yeah. I do miss leaving the house to do that, but it is what it it. I'm used to it.
And
now.
it's okay. Yeah. It's like your thing now.
Yeah. It's my thing. And then I think I joined Planet Fitness and everybody was like 20. I just thought, I'm just going to go back home. I tried that for a little while.
I have this thing
no hating on the 20-year-olds.
I checked out the gyms. I checked out the higher end gyms here in town. But what I find myself, because I'm a physical therapist and, form and mechanics are kind of always there for me, is I walk around resisting wanting to help people do things right. Or, you're gonna blow your knee out. Are you sure?
Yeah.
And so I can't have the blind, and they don't want help, but I have to just have the blinders on. That's that over helping thing.
Yeah.
So now I just walk, or I'll do planks. I really like to get back into Pilates.
Yeah, I'd really like to try Pilates.
You're almost there.
Yeah, I would really like to try that. I've had my ortho tell me.
I wish we lived closer because we would have so much fun.
Oh my! I know. There's just no close Pilates studio anywhere near me.
Right.
And I just haven't made that commitment to do the drive.
No, there's tons around here, but I'm just not there yet. I've got, this project and I still have 2 kids in college overlapping. So the funding is heavily on that side for now, but that's okay. I don't know. Is there anything else about menopause? Let me see. We have some people call in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What are some questions?
Okay. Some of them are just comments.
Okay.
Here's a good one.
Okay.
So I was asking for what the F moments, things that you didn't realize were coming, right? So this is a good one.
Okay.
Self-care. The body and hormones go to shit during menopause. Aching body, hot flashes, brain fog. That's a good one to talk about. Weight gain. It's a cruel joke. you can't conceive of until it hits.
Mm-hmm.
So that's true, because when I was younger, karma's taking its course now, ladies. But when I was younger, I used to be like, hey, what's wrong with you? Why don't you just exercise more? Maybe you're eating too much. Because I'd see the women kind of getting a little more in the round and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was mean in my head.
That was
right. Or just like, I just didn't get it. But now I have so much sympathy, because in some way, shape, or form, it happens to all of us.
Yeah, and we're not supposed to get it. You know, when you're young, those aren't your issues. Those aren't the things that are in your, you're surrounding you. Now that's all we think about. We're not feeling well until we take hormones and it's better. But I mean, yeah, don't feel bad. I used to look at my mom and think, what? She's going cuckoo. And now I think that poor lady was in menopause.
Mine too. My mom, I was like, oh my God, she was so exhausted all the time. Oh, I get it.
Yeah, mine was just bitchy. Oh,
well, and I wonder if like we
bitchy.
are too, but
Yeah, well, that's why when my husband said to me, "You're like borderline abusive," I thought, "Oh, that's what my mom was going through."
Yeah,
she was really bitchy.
With no compassion. Sure,
no, I know, but now I think, sorry, mom, love you. I get it.
They understand,
but there's no way we could get it.
Well, no, and we grant. I mean,
There's
look at
no
the stuff that we grant our kids grace with right now, because we know they don't know.
They don't.
So I think we're a little bit more aware as parents in our generation that there's a granting a lot of grace.
Yeah.
No disrespect, but there's granting more of grace.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
Let's see if there's anything else. Oh, the brain fog. Did you have that?
I still have that. I still have that.
Are you sure it's brain fog then?
I still have that. I'm sure anybody can relate to this. You leave the room to go get something, and the minute you get into that room, what did I come in here for?
Oh, I do that all the time though.
I'm still doing that. So I think that's the brain fog, right?
Yeah, that. And I think like maybe we have so much going on in our head that we need to practice being present more, like in the moment present.
I'm still
because as soon as that thought goes of you're going in to get, I don't know, your hairbrush or something, and your mind diverts, that thought's gone. And then you walk in because you'd already started an action.
Yeah. I'm still going through that. That's the one thing that has not gone away. The brain, I guess the brain fog, if that's what I'm calling this. And just memory, I have
my
really
memory's
bad
not.
memory, like short-term memory.
You know what helped me the most was the estradiol.
Really?
Yeah, because I wasn't like, the reason I resisted it for so long was because I don't want to go on anything that I don't absolutely need.
Okay.
Right? I didn't just want to be like, here's all the blue pills, take them. So I started off, progesterone was big. The thyroid was the biggest change for me, is getting that back up to a healthy level.
Mm-hmm. And
so I kind of resisted, the estradiol for like two years. I
remember. Yeah.
And I was like, but then, the more I researched it, but I got to tell you, there was a little shift after taking it. I felt more clear. The clarity is there.
It hasn't done that. It hasn't done that for me. But you know what? Here's the part that is different. I just remembered I had a hysterectomy.
Oh, so you were kind of like,
I had a hysterectomy at 40. At 41, I was shy of 42.
That's a different game.
Yeah, but they didn't take my ovaries. But the doctor did tell me, you're going to go into menopause between 5 to 7 years earlier than you would have. So
did you?
Yes, because if I'm going on based on my mom went into menopause, I want to say in her mid to late 50s. Mm-hmm. And I went into menopause at 49. So I would have gone into menopause around 55, 57.
Okay, so here's the thing. What's the marker for menopause? So I was always told it's when you go 1 year, a full year without having a period.
Well, I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
So it's based on all the other symptoms.
Yeah. So I've had other girlfriends who tell me, I think I'm in menopause. And I ask them why. Are you having hot flashes? Well, no. I stopped having my period. Is that how it happened to you? And I said, well, no, they took my uterus out. So
there were no periods.
I'll never know when I would have stopped having a period.
Well, here's a funny story. So I get on all my hormones and I didn't have my period. It was about 10 months. And I was like, all right, not that I'm excited, but who wants to have your period every month if you don't really need to?
Right.
And it was I went 11 months and it was right around my birthday. So I was like, okay, October, that's going to be it. I guess I'm considered in menopause instead of peri. I had started taking that estrogen. Mm-hmm. Dude, I had a regular period on the 12th month and for 3 months after that, just like and I was like,
while you were on the estrogen?
Yeah, but I'm thinking, okay, was that a rejuvenation? Am I going backwards? Fountain of youth?
Wishful thinking?
I know.
Wishful thinking.
I'm sure you know what Dr. A would say is, oh no, your ovaries are just making their last stand.
Yeah.
I was like, thanks.
Oh, I know. Thanks, Doc.
But that's okay.
Yeah. Well, see, that's the difference between, I guess, somebody who has a hysterectomy, and I don't know what menopause would have looked like naturally for me. I don't know.
But do you think because they kept your ovaries, you didn't, it wasn't, you went in earlier, but it wasn't like the hysterectomy put you into
It
menopause?
did not. Yeah. It did not put me into menopause. It didn't. But it put me into early menopause for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. But not having a period all those years was great. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
It wasn't, that's probably the best part of it, that I stopped having a period, the bloating, non-existent.
Oh.
Non-existent. Yeah. It was great it was nice while it lasted.
Yeah.
And we'll get into that another time, but yeah, it caused other pretty big issues for me, health issues. But initially I did feel, quite a bit of relief when I had the hysterectomy.
Oh, that's good. Well, there's a purpose that you had it. I mean,
I was in a lot of pain. I was having very heavy periods, a lot of fibroids. Yeah, it was just terrible. I needed to have done it for years before, but I couldn't. But yeah, it was initially good for me, but I would definitely caution women thinking about having a hysterectomy to really do their research because, like I said, we'll get into this another time.
For sure.
It really brought on a plethora of health issues for me. Not immediately. It took about 10 months. And yeah, obviously I couldn't go back and undo it, but just ladies, if your doctors are telling you need a hysterectomy, please do your research because there are some side effects that come with it that are just terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty terrible. And it's been almost 13 years since I had my hysterectomy, and I'm starting to feel a little better when it comes to those issues that it caused for me. So just do your research. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying don't do it. Everybody needs to do what's healthy for them, but just do your research. That's it.
Yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm. All right. Is there anything else on menopause? The brain fog. Well, we talked about weight gain. It is a cruel joke because you don't.
And nobody's laughing.
Well, not now. You might have been laughing at your elders, so to speak, but you're not laughing now.
No, it's not funny, ladies.
Oh, it's so funny.
You know.
Oh, here's a good one. So some of this is menopause. Well, I actually think all of this is menopause stuff. So low grade anxiety. It's either worrying about adult kids or aging parents. Can't sleep. Can't lose weight. Night sweats.
Yes.
I still get night sweats.
Me too, occasionally.
I used to wake up just drenched, but now it's just like a little sweaty or, if I'm not comfortable. I don't know if that has to do with eating sugar at night though, for me.
I don't think so. But yeah, so I don't get drenched anymore either, but I'm not slightly sweaty. I'm somewhere in the middle where I'm damp.
Yeah, it's not comfortable.
I'm
when
damp
you wake
and
up.
I think, what is this?
Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe that means it's time to talk to Dr. A about the estro. I don't know. But that's been happening to me lately.
We'll see what happens.
I don't like it. Yeah.
And this is a good one because I think I mentioned this to you and you're like, you're crazy. Jowls.
Jowls?
The jowls.
That you don't have?
That I've started to notice.
Yeah, you don't have that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
you got the good skin.
This is an interesting
legs.
story. And I'm not sure, like back in our day when we go to the dentist and we all had those freaking headgears and braces and the weird retainer thingies that you throw away in the trash.
Yeah.
I was told I have giant teeth and I know it, right? So I had 4 teeth pulled out, all my bicuspids, 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom.
So did I.
Okay. So it was really common practice.
For your braces, correct?
For the braces. Yes. And then they'd close up the gaps.
Yes.
And now the kids get these spacers and they just make their mouths bigger to make room for the teeth. But what they're finding is because they took out those 4 teeth.
Oh gosh. We're going to find out more things. Okay. I haven't heard this one. Go ahead.
Guess what?
What?
Jowls. That's where the jowls.
Are you serious?
That is where the jowls are coming from.
You know what? Maybe you're right.
Because of the structure of your mouth.
Yeah, and
they've closed it. And so the cheeks are getting a little. And so over time, gravity does take over, ladies. And that's where jowls come from.
You've never said this to me before. Thank you.
Well, you don't have jowls.
Yes, I do.
Oh.
I'm smiling a lot so you don't see them. But
we're just going to keep that actually is the muscle.
Are you serious? I've never heard this before.
But you got to look it up.
And there's nothing I could do about it at this point.
They can't put your teeth back in. But I did. I had the 4 teeth taken out. I had all my wisdom teeth taken out. And yeah, giant teeth, and they look good now.
But your face, you still don't have them.
But
it's not me
gels.
just being nice or,
I think when I'm not moving my mouth and sad, they're a little bit more there.
Oh no, when I try to smile as much as possible, because when I'm not smiling, you can see them, but I had no idea. And
No.
I actually believe that, because I remember when I did have my teeth removed, my cheekbones all of a sudden were so prominent, and they never were before.
Yeah.
So thanks a
gels.
lot, orthodontist, with your antiquated.
Well, now they just make the kids have braces twice.
Well, my kids had their teeth removed too, though.
Oh, well, mine are mine are a little younger than yours.
A little bit. Yeah. So, I mean, I want to say
they both had the spacers and two sets of braces.
I had to pay for all that.
I think some of it's just removals. A money scam.
I don't know. Well, okay. So we'll do more research on that, people.
So there's the answer to the gels.
Okay.
If you didn't get your teeth pulled, I'm not quite sure. We'll have to research that more.
Yeah. I'd like to hear from somebody in their 50s who did not get their teeth pulled. And if they don't have any gels.
Do you have gels also?
If there's truth to that, because I'm a little bitter right now hearing this.
Oh. I don't know, who would have known? It's like all those things that we'll try this. And then later on you go, we don't do that anymore.
Yeah. Okay. Now I can undo my teeth and my hysterectomy. Wonderful. Okay.
I work with a lot of orthopedics. So it's funny because every 10 years, the surgeries changes a little bit. And so someone will come in, I'll be like, oh yeah, they don't do that anymore because too many of them failed.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I guess hopefully they're not pulling teeth anymore. I don't. My kids didn't go through that. So
well, I have a grandson, so stay tuned.
Oh, I know. Well, hopefully he's got such a cute little smile. Though.
I know.
Hopefully he doesn't need braces.
I know. I'll be there when they tell him he needs to pull his teeth out.
And there's so much here, but we're going to try to stick with menopause.
Okay.
Because there is so much more to talk about on other episodes.
Okay.
I don't know. Do you have any other?
No, I think
we covered it.
I think so too.
I mean, that's not all of it, but it's just kind of a bitch session. But
yeah,
there is help. So I think that's the point. And you don't have to go to Dr. Alavisos. Do your own research.
Yeah. Be your own advocate for sure.
Yeah, and you have to be your own advocate because healthcare is not designed anymore. It's sick care. So if someone is not listening to you and
find somebody else.
Yes.
That's what I did.
Keep searching, find someone else. Yeah. And because I'll argue with Dr. Alavisos. Well, not argue, but he wanted me to go on a statin. I said, no, I'm going on a statin. He goes, okay, well, I want you to go to get a coronary artery index, which is a CT scan for your heart, the arteries of your heart, to see how much blockage you might have. And a statin would help lower or keep the pathways of the tube of the artery open. And I was like, okay. And he said, okay, if it's over 100, you're going to go on a statin. I said, deal. I just need more information. I've had slightly high cholesterol, but I don't have any other markers. So I'm not okay with just going on meds. And so I went, paid cash for it. Zero. I have zero blockage. So you do have to be your own advocate if it doesn't feel right for your body. Don't just say, oh, this guy knows what he's talking about. I'm going to do everything he says. You really have to have
listen
someone
to your body.
Yeah. And the doctor has to be almost a partner in figuring out what's going to be best for you. But don't ever be afraid of saying, there's got to be another way. I'm not ready for that yet. Or, if you're hitting 3 of the 4 markers, then you got to reconsider. But if it's just this anomaly, keep searching because it might be your body. This last time I just went in, he did some test with what my cholesterol looks like, the actual cells.
Right.
And then he came in and he goes, don't ever let anybody try to put you on a statin, Chrissie. Your LDL are the biggest, fluffiest, the best, kind of cell to have to help stave off heart attacks or whatever. And I was like, okay, a year ago you wanted me to go on. But you just need more information.
Yeah.
And that's it. So in closing.
I think that was a good one. I think that was a good conversation. I hope anybody going through menopause, either beginning, middle, or where we are, kind of like, I don't know, we're in it. We're in the thick of it. Yeah. Don't be afraid to get help. Don't listen to a doctor who tells you this is not a treatable condition. You decide what you're going to treat. And if you don't feel well, find somebody who's going to help you feel great.
Oh, and then I have one more thing to offer with that. I've got women that are already in their 60s saying, well, I didn't go on hormone replacement therapy. I can't start now. And I'm not so sure that's actually true, because from what I've been told is there's no reason for us to go off our hormones. You know how they say, oh, we wean you off, but why if we're feeling good? So you're only going to give us like 10 years and then you're going to say you can't have them anymore.
Now
so you feel fat.
Now feel like crap.
Yeah. It's that society disregarding women as they get older.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's okay.
I don't think so. I know that's not okay.
We definitely need to advocate for ourselves.
Yes.
Okay, our shift has ended for today, but the conversation is just getting started. You got a question, a story, a what the F moment of your own? Drop it in the comments or message us at hello@whoareyouNowpodcast.com. So until next time, stay curious, stay real, and keep shifting.
And stay tuned.
Bye now.